Good morning. This is Richard Peter, founding member of the Glorious National Party here in Dallas, Texas. Not only the founding member, but its political director. Today's briefing to the Glorious National Party is on Tuesday, February the 24th, in the year of our Lord Jesus Christ here in Dallas, Texas. Turns out to be a wonderful and beautiful day. Okay, we were talking yesterday about the three-legged stool that President Obama and his team are proposing to get America back up on its feet. I would submit that all three legs of that stool are made out of corrupt, mosquito-bitten wood, and that anybody sitting on that stool, especially the United States of America, will fall flat on their you-know-whats. Okay? The legs of the stool are based on lies, falsehood, corruption, and greed, and until you get to the root of the problem, until you dig to the root of the tree and drain the poison out of the root of the tree, the economic system, this system is doomed to fail. That's the bad news. The good news is that out of the ashes will arise a new and glorious nation with a national currency backed by gold and silver, where fractional reserve banking will be expressly forbidden, and anyone practicing it might end up hung from a gallows. We just don't want money printed out of thin air anymore. We will have a nation with balanced budgets. We will have families with balanced budgets. We will live in a world, if you follow what I am suggesting here, we will live in a world with a creativity that the God of starlight placed in our consciousness will provide us with miraculous means of handling our energy policies. Now, what we have in the Obama administration is a group of people who think they know about energy. There are people all throughout the world, inventors, who've been, many of them shot and put in prison because of the oil companies not wanting them to come forth with their invention. President Obama, you ought to offer a $1 million tax-free cash voucher to any inventor who can come to you with a brand new invention. And that could be, I've even heard of a volcano in a greenhouse type of thing that can power a whole city. All sorts of creative ideas, but you're never going to hear them as long as you're hiring resumes, political cronies that you grew up with in Chicago, people that studied about energy. Hell, Mr. President, I want people that invent energy, that invent new energy ideas. I want a $100,000 SBA loan to be granted to anybody, zero down, 4% interest in the new national currency that I'm proposing, so that they can go about creating again in America. And by golly, if they come up with something great, we ought to forgive that loan. We ought to have a quiz show in America with $1 million cash vouchers for people that can answer questions about how to solve our economic problems and our energy problems. Mr. President, you've surrounded yourself with a bunch of lightweights between you and we, the people who have the creative ideas, who have the productivity. We have the Bill Gates of the future out here. We have the Steve Jobs founder out here somewhere. A young man or woman growing up in America would love to be able to have the money necessary to finance the scientific ideas they're getting from the God who created Starlight. But no, you just hire resumes, people that have done administrative work in energy departments. Just plain stupid, Mr. President, and it's not common sense. Pick up the phone and call me. I want to come up there to Washington. I'll buy your lunch. My phone number is 1-877-365-0042. Now, we were talking about your three-legged stool, Mr. President, and why you're in your three-legged stool, you're ignoring the elephant in the room. That three-legged stool sits on fictitious money, money printed out of thin air, money that the banks loan interest on that they enter into a computer as fictitious play money, monopoly money, but yet they charge the American people interest on that money that they haven't gone out and worked by the sweat of their brows for, okay? And then if we fault on a loan because of a heart attack or stroke or cancer, they take our down payment and throw us in the street. Now, you ought to be outraged by that, Mr. President. It's a worse form of slavery than what Negroes suffered before the Civil War. Okay, sir. The stimulus is not going to work because it wasn't targeted to helping people get jobs. I told you, make it the straightest distance between 2 points. Take a few $1 billion, set up a national job bank, give the unemployed cash vouchers up to $30,000 of what they earned last year. Let them go to the job bank, get a job, and get hired. All has to be done within 90 days. job problem solved. Instead, you're going around building a bunch of highways that nobody's going to be able to afford to drive on, damn it. Now, leg number 2. You've solved the homeowner problem. Mr. President, until you solve the problem of fake money and return this nation to a system of honest money built on gold and silver in some measure, until you put the Federal Reserve under the Department of Treasury and take every federal note and burn it in front of the Federal Reserve and go out and buy as much gold and silver in the name of the American people as you can and announce to China and Japan that we're not a deadbeat nation, we're going to walk away from all those debts because it's corrupt money, but we will pay you back as soon as we can with real United States money backed in gold and silver. And our strong suggestion to the entire world is that you forgive each other your debts, every damn one of you. Forgive your debts and start a new currency in every nation throughout the world based on gold and silver. Not totally gold and silver, but a percentage of gold and silver so that money is never going to again be created out of thin air. And that's how you solve your problem. But no, you go ahead and you tinker with mortgages. I've already said that and yes, we should, the FDIC should shut these damn banks down, Mr. President, right now. Shut them down. Fire the people that got us in this mess. Every damn one of them ought to be in unemployment lines. Okay, sir? The next thing we need to do is create a new national mortgage, and this emergency no higher than 4%. We need to clear the credit record so that people, at least with good jobs, can get into these homes. We need to reduce the principal balances on these damn overinflated houses. Well, they are being reduced right now. You go down any street, they've lost $50,000 to $70,000, and I'm glad they did it. They weren't worth that much money to begin with. But rewrite those notes on the back end for everybody in America, not just the ones you're going to pick out on March the 4th. Rewrite those damn notes, Mr. President, and reduce the principal balance down. Have the people get 1/2 credit, 1/2 of that payment. If it's $1,000, $500 goes toward principal, and then $500 goes toward interest, Mr. President. And in the emergency, make it 4%. And get that, and don't let them charge any refinancing fees. And to hell with giving these mortgage brokers $1,000 for doing the job that they damn well should have done to begin with. You know what I'm talking about. Read what this idiot who proposed this plan to you has put in there. She's an instrument of the mortgage companies, Mr. President. Another fox guarding your henhouse. Okay, now let's talk about nationalizing the banks, Mr. President. Do it. You're doing it anyway when the FDIC puts a closed for business thing on the door. Just keep the ATMs open so we can continue to use this poison money until you wake up, Mr. President, and give us an honest money that we can be proud of, sir. Now, these bad banks want to pass off to the American taxpayer toxic assets, and they want you to lift the mark-to-market rules so they can sell the American taxpayer, on top of taking an infusion of new money, these bad assets at prices that we'd be a damn fool to pay. So seize the banks, seize the assets, put the Federal Reserve out of business, create a new currency, make an announcement from Fort Knox that you're going to be buying as quickly as you possible all the damn gold that you can, burn all the federal notes, come out with a new national currency, Mr. President, get some bills about you, and get us a new national currency before it's too late. And recommend every damn one of those other leaders in the world do the same thing instead of playing kissy-kissy with them when you go on your next European trip. You can tell I'm a little excited today, Mr. President. China and Japan see us as deadbeats. Tell them to do the same thing, to come up with a new national currency backed in gold and silver. Geithner needs to be fired. I don't like your press secretary. He just doesn't have a good brain on him. He's slow, and he can't handle those reporters the way he should. I'd love to see a real intelligent lady in there that can, I think that's what I'd like to look at. I don't like that guy, and I don't like Rahm Emanuel. I found out he avoided paying his property taxes. He's a schemer and a manipulator and an old hack Chicago politician, and if he cracked his knuckles in my ears, I'd have the Secret Service throw the bum out of my office and handcuff him for insulting the President of the United States. Well, God bless you, Mr. President. You can see I'm a little bit excited today. I love you anyway. Call me. Let's go out to lunch. I'll pick up the check. 1-877-365-0042.